Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to another episode. I got a couple of things I need to do mechanically underneath the hood of the 93 XJ. Buried underneath that intake manifold is the exhaust manifold, and it's got a crack in the collector. Big crack in the collector. I need to take the intake off as well as the exhaust manifold because first reason is they share a common gasket. If you can manage to take the exhaust manifold off without taking the intake manifold off, the gasket's going to be buggered. So I do have a new gasket, so I need to start by taking all this stuff. Air box is going to come off. This got to come off. The fuel rail's got to come off. The wiring's got to get moved out of the way. I've already started pulling vacuum lines and getting them tucked up out of the way so I can get to these bolts to pull the intake manifold off, and then I can get to the exhaust manifold. So that's probably going to eat up the majority of my time allotted for activities today. That's okay. And then the other thing I need to do, down there where the oil filter is, there's an adapter that adapter leaks, right? So, right here, right there, right at the end of that rod, where that adapter meets the block, that thing is hemorrhaging oil at a pretty significant clip. So I need to pull that apart and replace the O-ring. That'll probably be tomorrow, because I'm having a real hard time getting fired up about doing this job. The other thing I need to do is get underneath there and disconnect, unhook the exhaust from the exhaust manifold. So enough of jaw jack. I need to get some tools out here and start ripping things apart. Underneath this cap is a Schrader valve, and you want to bleed off your fuel pressure if you have any in the fuel rail. I've already bled this thing off. You push that Schrader valve in, you'll hear, first thing, if you got pressure in the system, it'll vent. It'll spray gasoline all over the place, so make sure you're not smoking a cigarette and you're away from ignition sources. Also make sure you have a fire extinguisher handy if you're going to do this. But if it's been sitting for a day, likely the pressure would have bled off at least a little bit. And once you push that Schrader valve in, the pressure will bleed off. I need to disconnect all the electrical components to the throttle body and the sensors on the intake manifold, all the vacuum lines. Then I'll after I get all that stuff pulled off, then I'll start pulling the wiring harness that goes to all the fuel injectors. Then I'll pull the fuel rail, and just take it one step at a time. So in this particular model Jeep, got this little wire retainer. You got to pop that off. You don't have to take it completely off. You just need to pull it out like about that far to get this to come off the fuel injector. This wire is what retains the connector to the fuel injector. So, and with a vehicle of this age and in this climate, you can bet that all this stuff is going to be brittle AF. So be very careful when you start taking this stuff apart. only took about, I don't know, about an hour and a half or so. But finally got that damn thing out of there. So here's the exhaust manifold for a 4-liter Jeep engine. And you can see the stress point is right here. This is where they usually crack, or they'll crack down here at the collector. See it there? So I have a crack here. So you can start. It starts right there. Goes all the way around. Holy crap, it goes all the way, almost all the way around. Ends down here at this weld. Actually, it goes all the way around that weld. It cracks all the way around that weld, and then here. Yeah. All the way down into there. So in a perfect world, I think this is a form of stainless. Not really sure. But in a perfect world, I would get out my TIG welder and I would TIG weld this back together, but I sold my TIG welder. So I'm just going to fire up the MIG and burn this thing back together and hope it lasts another 100,000 miles. Okay. Not my best looking welds, but they'll do. Unfortunately, that's the procedure for repairing your exhaust manifold. Most people in my position would probably just replace it with an aftermarket one, but you know, there's a lot of garbage aftermarket ones out there too. And I really don't want to spend a couple $100 or 250 or 350 bucks for a stainless steel header for a $350 hoopty. So I'm just into this for about 3 hours of my time, and I think a $15 gasket, and I'm good with that. So yeah, I'll show you the gasket anyway. Here it is. So Felpro part number MS94790. I'll put a link in the description if you need to get yourself one. Oh, look at that. It's a metal core paper gasket. It's not, it's a nice gasket. 94790. So you can see that these are the exhaust ports and these are the intake ports. Pretty cool, huh? Somebody took this off at one point in time and didn't put a new bolt back on, and that's likely why the thing broke. Yeah, that bolt hole right there, full of garbage, never got replaced. Watch this. It's oddly satisfying. Kind of like ripping the plastic off a new iPad. I've discovered that rear bolt is not missing. It's in there. Yeah, it's broken off. And it's broken off about 1/4 of an inch deep. And it's tight. I can't get a drill in there, and I don't have a 90-degree drill. But I did notice a few things. I have a completely chowdered motor mount here, so I'll probably replace that while I'm here. And then let me set this camera up here for you. I'll probably just throw a freaking tack on that. Call it good. Yeah, this is turning into a bigger project than I wanted it to be. And I was afraid of that. But it's a lot easier to replace that motor mount with the manifold off than doing it with it on. Trust me, I know. And I don't know what I'm going to do about that back there. Any ideas? Comment in the comment section. I can't get a drill in there. It's too tight. Oh, so wait till you see how I try to extract this bolt. I'm sure to mess up the threads, and I'll probably have to pull the engine and helicoil it anyway. Ain't that a bitch? Or I'll just run it without that bolt, and it worked before. I'm just gonna have to contemplate on it for a minute, but I'm not gonna do anything until tomorrow anyway. I pulled the oil filter and the oil filter adapter that's soaking in gas to get just the layers of freaking goo off of it. And then I'll show you tomorrow. I'll show you what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to show you how to pull that off tomorrow. So if you haven't done so yet, underneath this window is a button that says subscribe. Click that button and the little bell icon right next to it so that YouTube will let you know when I upload another video. Because if you don't click the bell, they probably won't notify you. That also helps the algorithm, detect engagement. So that, along with smashing that like button if you like this video, that will help the channel immensely as well. And then share it with all your social media and let all your friends know, and yada yada, this, that, and the other. That helps the channel too. Thanks if you can do that. And again, check the links in the description for products that I use in these videos and the gear they use to make them. And if you're not inclined to purchase any of those products and you're going to shop on Amazon anyway, I would consider it a personal favor if you went through one of those links to get whatever it is you do want. That way I can offset some of the costs of these projects by earning a bit of a commission. It's pennies, but every penny counts. Thanks in advance if you can do that. And if you can't, that's okay too. Enjoy the content regardless. We're probably cousins. So until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep your powder dry, and have a splendid day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you when I go over there and fix those oil leaks. Bye.